You know, the Greek system has been very much in the news the last year and a half, in part because of Rolling Stone and in part because of a series of legitimately egregious events that have taken part. But I was always interested in them because I went to the University of Virginia. I came from a very liberal family. I grew up in Berkeley. There were fraternities in Berkeley at that time, but they were, you know, in the late 70s, early 80s, they were not in the favor and fashion they are right now. And to move to the South, and seeing a whole different way of life. We're talking now about the Confederate flag. The first time I ever saw a Confederate flag in my life outside of a history book was hanging from the window of a UVA fraternity. And I pretty much would bet you that you could find them in UVA fraternity houses now. This idea that the South's going to rise again, this idea that that's a glorious thing to hang a Confederate flag for a liberal girl with pretty extremely, parents slightly to the left of Karl Marx, that blew my mind. And then to find that there were these prestigious, all-white, male-only clubs that ran the social life, that had some tremendously great guys in them, one of whom I married and would no sooner rape anyone than he would have, I don't know what, jumped off the roof of the fraternity house. That wasn't what he was about or his friends were about. But also to know that within this system, girls were, with some regularity, taken upstairs and forcibly raped in situations quite different than today's typical campus rape. But to know that such a system was built into the very fabric of my university, was formally recognized by my university, was held out as one of the great points of pride of the university, it always puzzled me. And so I wanted to really research. I wanted to research the history of the fraternities. I wanted to research the level of power in the fraternities. I spent, in a way, far too long on the essay, but I'm glad I did. One of the things I found is that of all the forms of claims, lawsuit claims that come against fraternities, the second most common type of claim is for rape. Hazing, which we all immediately associate with fraternities, that's way down on the list. That's 7%. It's tied for least likely form of a claim. But the assault and battery is number one, and number two is sexual assault. So these are legitimate organizations recognized by colleges and universities across the country, long record of very poor admittance of non-white students, and with a very serious problem with campus sexual assault. So I think there's a lot in the balance there. I heard both sides of the story. I represented both sides of the story. Fraternities do a lot of good as well as bad behavior on campus. And so it was kind of a very, very deep dive before the Rolling Stone fiasco came along.